Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Tyrone Clark, CEO and founder of Brokers Choice America, and I'm here with Patrick Lynch, and we're going to go through this presentation. Patrick Lynch is a actual producer who has been working with this program, and he's going to, well, let me give you some results right off the bat that you can get excited about. Patrick did last year 16 million of AUM, 9 million in fixed annuities, and about 250,000 in target life premium. That's, if you add it all up, that's a very good year. So that is actual proof of production, and he's going to go through the process. So we were going to have with us as well Ellen Gappinger. Ellen is the founder of the program that we're going to go into. Alan had a medical emergency today, but I have, unfortunately this morning, but I have good news because Alan is going to go through this entire process in person. So we're going to get through this quickly. We're not talking about a bunch of hype and rah-rah. We're just, this is raw. This is the real deal. This is not something that was dreamed up a few years ago or yesterday. This program has been in effect for 15 years, and over those 15 years, very, very successful. So let's get into the discussion. Okay, we call it rollover heaven. It says the smartest business model, and you can be the judge. So going to ask everybody, what business are you really in when you think about what you do every single day? Well, I'm going to suggest that you're actually in the money in motion business. The retirement revolution is unfolding. It has been for a number of years. You've heard of the statistics, 10,000 people retiring every day, and so forth. But the money in motion business is like chasing swarms of fish, but you're really after assets. And so that's why we call it money in motion. And if you look at the places where money's going to be in motion, it's going to be in IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs. So there's $27 trillion of money in motion that is expected, according to experts, to last around 2029. The question is, how do you position yourself to capture this money in motion without spending a tremendous amount of money and taking years to accomplish? And that's what you're going to see today. So here's the important. So, you know, what you should be doing is you should have a pen and pencil and a notepad, because this is pretty incredible information. It's if you're looking at, you know, tripling your production, taking it to a whole nother level, that's what you're going to see right now. Let's think about this. When is money released? Okay, during retirement, yep. How about if they're terminated with their job and they got a pension or 401k, or they're laid off, or they're mergers or transfer jobs, or there's an inheritance, or in-service withdrawals and 401ks. That's money in motion. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you, see all this right here? We're going to show you how to take a big net and capture a big portion of this here effectively. Okay? So how do you efficiently, effectively position yourself in a money in motion business? By becoming what we call an employment transition educator. The ideal position in order to capture assets, we call it the Trojan horse, where right in the corporate front door. Okay, today in the digital age, the GAO demands unbiased information and education for corporate America. And what we're talking about is financial wellness education inside companies and corporations, when people are laid off, when they transfer jobs, or when they're retiring. So why should an employer let you teach their employees? Because it reduces the employee's vulnerability to major economic crises, improves overall level of productivity, increases the participation in company-sponsored retirement plans, and behaviors that affect the bottom line. You got a better employee when they're doing well financially. But here's the key. You got your notepad ready? The GAO has defined financial literacy as the ability to understand financial choices and plans for the future, spend wisely, and manage the challenges that come with life events such as job loss, saving for retirement, or child's education. And the ERISA Act, what does it say? A lot of things, but it says when properly informed and educated, given reasonable choices, plan participants would make good decisions. So what thousands and thousands of employers, I'm an employer myself, so we're a small employer, perhaps like yourself, I didn't know what it says in the ERISA Act about educating our employees about retirement. Okay, here it is. Are you ready? The bottom line regarding financial education, ERISA was historically used in class action lawsuits to recover funds from mismanaged plans. In 2000, ERISA plans became open to individuals to file, and today a claim can be filed online. So what we're saying today is ERISA is pretty stern about educating employees about retirement. I can actually talk about this entire subject for the next hour. I'm not going to get into this, but if you get your pen and pencil handy, you should have ordered the report from it's called The Effects of Conflicted Investment Advice on Retirement Savings. Came out from the Executive Office of the President of the United States, and we're talking about education through a fiduciary process. All right, pretty important stuff. So let's talk about the smart business model. And by the way, if you want a copy of what I just said, I have a copy. Okay, I can send that to you. The smart business model in conjunction with the Heartland Institute. I consider this the smartest business model because it puts you in front of assets without spending enormous amounts of money on fancy dinner seminars and also, radio shows and TV programs. You can be the judge. Employment transition planning inside small, medium, and large companies for mergers, layoffs, terminations. Virtually no marketing expenses. Average case size is 50,000 to $1 million. With authority and credibility. So we're talking about positioning you in companies in a credible manner with authority. We have basically no competition in this environment. Announcing an exceptional opportunity. It's a proven process. What did I say earlier? This is something that my colleague Alan has been doing for over 15 years. And I'm in Colorado. I've been in the business almost 40 years. I've known Alan for, probably about 14 years. And I have asked him, Alan, you have the smartest business model in the industry. Can I work with your business model? And he's kept it to himself. And he has allowed me recently to work with him and to expand this on a national basis. So tremendous profitability. It's an entirely unique. It's an abundant of AUM potential, as well as life insurance, annuities, long-term care. Positions you royally and with magnificent sales results. Blue ocean environment. If you read the book called Blue Ocean, basically means no competition. I just stated there. Minimizes your expenses significantly and with instant credibility. So this is all facts. This is not hype. And okay, imagine not having to pay for massive mailings, expensive dinners, reservation services, no-shows, plate liquors, negative predispositions, and broke prospects. Aha. And imagine stellar endorsements, authoritative positioning, rock solid credibility, Fortune 500 list of users. Imagine leveraging national government agency, National Human Resource Associations, National Nonprofit Institute, college universities. This also includes rec centers, libraries, senior centers, civic centers as well. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about education. If you educate consumers, they can make better and intelligent decisions. We are in the information age. It's all about education, 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 not typical seminar sales pitches. All right, within your backyard are hundreds of thousands of small, medium, large companies loaded with employees which are in need of financial literacy education. Right now, on a national basis, there's a TV commercial. I'm not going to mention the name of a major company, and that insurance company is talking about the same subject that we are talking about right here. Okay, financial literacy education, they call it financial wellness planning. Rollover management, that's a key. Rollover management, retirement transition. What does that mean? Well, when people are heading into retirement, they need to make big decisions about Medicare, right? Medicare supplements, converting their savings into an income, and income planning, and especially their 401k. All right, the new frontier in financial services, transition planning for corporate financial literacy education, the Trojan horse of asset management. All right, by capitalizing on this opportunity encompassing layoffs, transfers, corporate mergers, corporate relocations, corporate downsizing, retirement, early retirement, and employment terminations and service withdrawals. Now, if you were writing some of this stuff down right now within a 20-mile radius of where you are at, 20 miles, you have companies right now in this entire situation. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, Tyrone, yes, I agree with you, but how do we get in to do this, right? How do we get the credibility and the authority? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about, becoming a transition educator, because you're an instructor, a teacher, an educator, an advocate, a confidant, not the sales pitch, financial services rep. Because the Heartland Institute provides a special designation and a membership in an exclusive national registry. Introducing the Heartland Institute, a 501c nonprofit educational organization. Here are some of the companies that they've taught classes in: the United Airlines, Remax, Coca-Cola, Chrysler, Honeywell, NASA. These are big companies, okay? But we're talking about a whole bunch of small companies as well. So one of the things you'd want to do is become a certified financial educator. That's what they provide. But then the Heartland provides a program with HR people. And I'm not going to get into the secret sauce of how they do that. You want to know how they do it. It's very efficient. So the checklist here is financial education for employees provided with solid credentials, education, experience, ethics, fiduciary license, independence, certified financial educator, member of the registry. Now, we're going to go through some real examples here. You're going to hear from Pat Lynch, who will walk you into this concept of what he's been doing. Okay, so you be the judge. Now, you all know me. I'm one of the pioneers of seminars. I started doing seminars in the 80s. Okay, that tells you how long I've been doing it. I've done almost 2,000 seminars in 49 states in front of over 70,000 people. I've trained 8,000 financial advisors on the art of the seminar. But today we have the art of classes and education. It's a whole different process. So here's what's typical in the seminar realm. But when you take employment transition education and look at the comparison here, there's no comparison, okay? In terms of your cost now, there's seminars that are a bit saturated all over. This is the direction, but this involves much more than what we're talking about classes. We're in the digital information age, and there's a lot of things that they're doing in that realm connected in with all of this. So we're going to guide advisors into companies with their market and a territorial positioning. So we can't provide this for everybody across the whole country, and we're really not interested in thousands of agents. A lot of FMOs, they recruit thousands of agents and they throw it all against the wall, hope something sticks. We are interested in a small number of people in every state, probably about 40 states of the nation, to do something that's quality, that works well, and we support the advisors. And so before we get into this, I'm going to bring on Pat Lynch, but I just want to show you. So you want to know the secrets of how it's all done. Well, that would actually take us a lot longer than this discussion here. But at the Money in Motion event on June 13th and 14th here in Denver, you can come to that. Okay, we will show you how we work with the getting into small, medium, and large companies. We get a turnkey process. But this involves 3 different stages. Okay, so we position you to educate and teach in libraries, senior centers, rec centers, civic centers, and universities, colleges, community colleges. So we've got a fantastic program that we will put advisors in, and we're doing this right now, and we're going to fill up our territories on a national basis. But Pat Lynch, you want to talk about a little bit about your success and what you've done with this, but tell everybody, the advisors, and what their numbers are like. We were just going through their numbers, and compared to the amount of money people are spending on all their radio shows and their seminars, there's no comparison. But this is Pat Lynch, and he's going to give you the examples of what he's been doing in sales and how the process is working for him.
Well, thanks, Tyrone. And hello, everybody. You know, one thing I wanted to throw out to you is that the hardest thing for us to do in our chosen profession, okay, it's to get in front of quality and qualified prospects. So we've been talking a lot about this, and this is why it's synonymous with Allen's Heartland Institute, because we're doing so from a fiduciary platform, from an educational point of view, which is so different than the dinner seminars. And Lord knows I did 59 dinner seminars one year, and it was sure expensive.
Let me just point out really quick. So some of you are saying, okay, do I have to have a 65 license to do this? Yes and no. We have 3 stages. We have the first stage where you don't have to be 65 licensed. And then we have the second stage where you would want to become, but it's up to you. And then the third stage in corporations. But we have an RIA firm. It's called Wealth Watch Advisors. We have everything to help you to get to your 65 if you want, but you don't have to for the stage number 1. And again, we're not talking about marketing expenses that, you know, people are paying what they are today, but that's again why we have to limit the program to probably only about 200 advisors on a national basis. So if you snooze, you lose. Sorry, but that's the way it is. But we are going to show you everything that we're doing. But Pat, go through some of the numbers.
Okay. So again, doing this from a fiduciary platform, from an educational point of view, puts you in a completely different light than the person that's doing the dinner seminars. Tyrone, who was a pioneer of this thing, has seen seminar numbers waning over the years. It's like people that do Social Security seminars. A lot of people I work with have just seen lackluster results of late. They've just been kind of waning. You know, you have 50 people in the room, but about 3 of the people are actually qualified, but you have to separate the wheat from the chaff.
I would say, just so you all know, I love classes and seminars. Social Security seminars, by the way, it's a term that's overused. A lot of people doing it. But there's very few people that really know how to do those, Pat, and that's a different subject. But we can talk, because that's also involved in what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
that's a real important part. One of the things that we concentrate on is if we try to target our audience and knowing what our audience is. We're not trying to have the 50 people in the room and there's only 3 qualified people in the room. We're trying to have all 20. We've been averaging more than 20 qualified buying units for each one of our classes across the country. These are people that meet our criteria. They're 57 to 68 years old. They have investable assets of over $350,000. So we know that every single person that comes into the room is a qualified person, and that's the hardest part about our job anyway. So one of the things I'll give you some numbers in just a second, but I'll just share with you guys a couple of things, and that is that in addition to the intellectual property that we have going on here, we've shot hundreds literally hundreds of hours of supporting video, because let's face it, this can be a lonely profession. You know, when things are going well, things are going unbelievable, but when they're not, they're not. We feel like the Maytag repairman, that kind of comes to mind. So where do we get a new information from? Whose best practices are you emulating? So now you get the customer into the office, what do you do next? So that's some of the support things that we've done, because I know that as I've looked at so many FMOs over the years, it's pretty easy to get signed up with them, but the support that you're going to get from there, that's what I've been really encouraged with.
Yeah, so what Patrick is saying is, this process is, like I said, it wasn't dreamed up overnight. It's been very, very successful, probably maybe one of the most successful programs in the whole nation. But the support system that we have for you, we have it online. We've got every step of the way. We spent hours and hours videotaping the entire process from A to Z. It's total turnkey. That's not something we're going to charge the agent for. Like some people do. We give that to you, you plug into it. I think it's worth a fortune. But the example is what you did last year, or not even counting the year before that. But,
right. Well, and my numbers the year before were really cool, but I'm kind of running this, and I ran out of time a little bit. But I'll give you some ideas of a couple of people. One, these are not our top three, but these are three. One of them wasn't from Colorado, moved to Colorado, did 8 of these classes last year. He did $8 million of annuities and $5 million of AUM. It was everybody's different too. You know, there's lots of different styles here.
Yeah, he started from complete scratch. And in our market, it has been seminared to death. So starting from scratch, that was his numbers. I'm going to give you a special example of somebody who was basically new, green in our business, like just starting out. And, you know, that I always worry about somebody like that, but look at his numbers from being basically brand new in the business.
Well, I'll tell you what, those are some great numbers, and we were real proud of them. Another person who's completely different personality-wise, and I'm going to answer a couple of questions. We've got a couple of questions that people have sent in to him, and these are perfect segues. Another person did $10 million of AUM over the course of the last 15 months. He did $10 million of AUM.
Was that Steve?
Yeah, and about $2 million of annuities.
He's the one that was pretty much green.
Yep. Well, we got about 3 of them. Here's another quick one. Last week in Minneapolis, we had an advisor who just got his Series 65 license. Over the course of the last 2 months, he had 28 buying units. I can't give you the numbers with regards to what kind of production that's going to mean, but he had 26 of the 28 people say yes to the dress, and that is they're going to come in for a 1-hour free consultation.
Well, but the difference is, you're talking about 28 people that have anywhere from about, would you say, 250,000 to $1 million each?
350 or so, yeah.
That's like the equivalent of 4 or 5 seminars that you would normally do, because each of the people that attend this have the assets. You can see why. You see the difference here.
Yep. So here's one of the questions. It's perfect for this. So what if I've not done a lot of seminars? I don't have the gift of gab. And you know what? That's a great question. The training videos are intended to help you. We just had a very young agent that we didn't talk about yet, both in the business, and he's a month older than my son. Kevin, who devoured the videos. He copied a whole bunch of what I did verbatim. I went down last week to see him do an actual class in Colorado Springs, and I watched the interaction between him and the people in the class, because he's coming at it from an educational point of view. And yeah, he doesn't have the wrinkles in his face that I do and the experience and stuff like that, but he's coming from the fiduciary platform, and we just think that is so virtually important.
So these are some, listen, we have pages here of each advisor that we're going through, and we're not going to go through all of them, in this short period of time, but we've got more here, from people that are green to people that have been in the business, that somebody that moved in the state had 0 clients, and his numbers. But we've been doing this for quite a while, and so what I'd like to do is I want to repeat, it's worth you to pay a penny in order to make a fortune. You have to invest in yourself. So we don't fly you in and pay for that, because we don't have to beg for business, because our program speaks for itself. And so you jump on a plane, you come here, and you're going to see we're gonna unveil how we get into the companies. It's a special process that we do that what took trial and error. We're doing something digitally, obviously, as you can tell. And so you come here, we'll show it to you. It's not like I'm withholding that from you on this webinar because it's just too much to discuss with you. But here's the bottom line. We think that realistically, not exaggerating numbers, we think an advisor would be in front of, in the course of a year, what would you say?
Almost $80 to $100 million.
Okay, so I know you all gonna flip on what you just heard. That is for real. And so that's why we have to be careful as the advisors we put into the program. You know why? Because you're looking at putting an advisor in front of like 80 to 100 million in the course of a year of assets. So we want people that are serious because we don't want to waste a marketplace for people that are just going to goof around. This is a quality system, a quality program. And we're not asking you to pay money to buy stuff, to buy videos and all that. We're not doing that. We're work with you as a partner, and we put you in a program, and we walk you through and teach and educate, and we're in this together to help you to do good things for consumers. And Patrick, what else did you want to say?
Well, I'll tell you what, let me just keep going on that thought. So what I would say is that, remember, these people are looking for a trusted advisor. These are people 2 to 5 years out. They're not looking for another 2002 or 2008. They're getting nervous. And getting nervous means that they're going to place a lot of their product or their money in products that have guaranteed lifetime income streams. So the annuity production that's been going on has been wonderful. But how many times do we leave the other half on the table? If we were an insurance-only producer, then we just left the other half on the table. And what were we going to do with it? Oh, just leave it with your guy. We talk about in our series of videos creating wedges between their Edward Jones guy and us, letting us be their financial advisor, and not just using that as a company, their commission salesperson.
Right. So anyway, we're talking about money in motion, and we're talking about financial education, and we're talking about financial literacy education that's generic, unbiased information. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk. And this has been in operation for like 15 years. It's only recently that I was able to have the founder of the program to allow us to work with him on this basis. So we had last year, I hope you're all still listening, a Money in Motion event one time last year. From that one meeting, we put advisors in several states in front of a bunch of assets. In fact, what happened, I just want to tell you what happened as an FMO owner. We said, oh gosh, let's get this going and do a bunch of these. We said, wait a second. We had so many people from our first event last year alone, we didn't do any more. We're like, we already got a bunch of people here, and we still have a bunch of territories open. And we said, okay, let's have another Money in Motion event, and let's put, the advisors in their marketplace. So this is different than a seminar process. With a seminar, you're going to call some mail house, and they're going to send out 5, 6, 7, 8,000, invite people to a dinner. In this area, we're going to look at all the companies and corporations within 20 miles of where you're at. We're doing like a market analysis that involves all kinds of information. And the goal is to over the next 10 years, to put you in front of like 100 million a year. Now, do you still have your pens handy? Okay, I want you to write this down. Realistically, I'm going to say realistically, this is what I feel that you're, capable of without being a superstar and one of those super big giant producers. This is kind of just working hard, not killing yourself, having quality time for your family. So here's the numbers. In just a 3-year period alone, okay, your goal should be able to move at least 50 million in a 3-year period. Here's the numbers. That's only moving 350,000 a week. That's only by being in front of 1 million a week. So if we can, with this program, put you in front of just $1 million a week, that's only $4 million a month, and you only close 35%, and you do that 10 months out of the year for 3 years, you've moved $50 million of assets. Now, when I say this, I'm looking at Patrick sitting across the table here, and he has a big smile on his face. Those are low estimates. What did he say earlier? You're talking about 80 to 100 million in the course of a year, and I'm just talking about 4 million a month. So I said, Alan and Patrick, let's just, that scares people. I thought that's a lot of numbers, but that is the fact, because we're talking about knowing in advance, having in advance an idea of the amount of assets of what we're talking about before you get in front of people. That's some of the complexity of the program, which you're all going to learn about. Okay, but why not have the best years you've ever had? And it all comes down to positioning and marketing. Okay, and you all know, if you're doing seminars right now, you know that the market is getting tough and it is getting saturated. You all know that. Well, we are fortunate, and I am fortunate, because I've always been, if you all know me, I've always been ahead of the marketplace for like 40 years. And so here's the bottom line. Come out to Money in Motion. It's not a rah-rah session. We're going to show you the mechanical process of what we're doing. And then we're going to, everybody says, please count me in. But unfortunately, we can't count everybody in. We will protect the marketplace. We're not going to let a whole bunch of people in an area. So, and then the goal is to do good things for many, many years, not just, a 3-month seminar routine. And so, Patrick, you want to say a couple things?
Yeah, just one thing that, as people are listening on this thing, about 4 years ago is when I got my Series 65 license, because I had been an insurance-only producer. But the one thing I didn't have is I looked around, and all the different FMOs are out there, and there's some wonderful FMOs, but not one of them had a 401k plan. So I said to myself, I'm a financial advisor. What kind of plan do I have for myself? Being able to have the kind of money that Tyrone just talked about, the $50 million of assets under management, is probably going to mean about $500,000 per year. That just takes away all the little gnats that are always running around our heads with regards to spend money here, spend money there. So I'd encourage you guys to come out here if you could. Tell you what, there's one more question that just is germane to this. How soon can I be up and going? You know what, that's a great question. If you're Series 65, or if you have a 7 with a 66, we can have you in a classroom at a community college,
or a rec center, or a library, or a senior center.
Well, with 20 qualified,
but corporation too.
Well, corporations are a little bit longer play,
right.
But they're we can get you in the definition of a qualified prospect over $500,000 of investable assets.
In about what you say, 4 weeks?
Yeah, we can. Well, no, it's about 6 weeks, because we have some mail time that has to go out there. So it's a bit longer sales cycle. Ours is as well, because remember, we're gathering all the assets.
Well, so I want you all to understand, it's not just like the mail. We have digital process. We have something else that we use. Okay, you probably can figure that out with the way I've been talking. We have a different process that opens the door. I'm not going to go through it here. I know there's probably 30 FMOs trying to figure out how we're doing this that are on this webinar. If you come out to Money in Motion, we're going to show it to you. Okay, and so come out here. We're not going to ask you to buy something and all that type of thing, but I believe that this is life transformational. I believe that this will change a lot of advisors' lives, like it has changed your life, Patrick. And I love Patrick here. He's doing a phenomenal job. I'm the kind of guy that likes to work 12 months out of the year. Patrick is getting ready to take off a couple of months, because you've done so well from January to today.
It's been a good start on the year.
He's done really well. And so, but anyway, that's just me. But the goal is to do good things for consumers, have authority and credibility, and educate consumers. They can make better decisions, have a format and a process that we'll do all the work for you guys. Okay, you do what you do, and we're doing all the rest. Come out to Money in Motion. Call 1-800-344-4105. and talk to our business development advisors, and we will listen. I'm being honest with you. We can't have more than probably 150 people at the Money in Motion event. So, and we only did it one time last year. We probably may only do this one time this year too. So this is it. So come out to Money in Motion. We're going to walk you through the entire process. It's 1-800-344-4105, and you'll see the secret sauce. And then you're going to say, oh my gosh, that is incredible. How'd you guys think about doing that? Well, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error for many, many years. 1-800-344-4105. You can talk to us. You can talk to Patrick. You can talk to Ellen, who's not available, today, but you can talk to him as well. That's 1-800-344-4105. We'll see you at the Money in Motion event, and thank you for participating today.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyrone.
You bet.